This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. A couple of weeks ago, the U.S. House of Representatives completed its version of President Trump's one big, beautiful tax and spending budget. Now, the U.S. Senate is getting close to its version, and this bill is going to have a significant impact on automakers and suppliers. Look for the CAFE regulations or the corporate average fuel economy standards to get gutted. On top of that, as we've already reported, the subsidies to buy new and used electric cars gets phased out at the end of this year, except for automakers who have sold fewer than 200,000 EVs. For them, it gets phased out at the end of next year. The subsidies to build battery plants will also get the heave-ho, but not until 2031, which means plants currently under construction will still qualify for government money. There is at least one proposed item that would definitely help car buyers, which allows them to deduct the first $10,000 of interest on a car loan when they do their taxes. The next step in the legislation is for the House and Senate to negotiate or reconcile any differences in their versions of the bill. We should know the outcome in about 3 weeks, since the president wants this all wrapped up by the 4th of July. Rivian released a video that continues to provide more detail about its all-new R2 platform, which is scheduled to go into production sometime in the first half of next year. It revealed how design worked with engineering to make sure everything looks good, but isn't too expensive to build. We even get a little peek at what some of the interior combinations might look like. It then transitions to how it applied a similar philosophy to its new drive unit, reducing fasteners by 30% while increasing power density by 40%. To test those drive units, Rivian created its own in-house developed dynos, which are actually powered by the same motors used in its R1 models. I think there's also a few references to its partnership with VW, saying that it's, quote, understanding and optimizing the use case of the drive unit in a larger market across the globe, and then adding of its new electronic architecture. Over the next year, we'll take that to more vehicles than anybody's been able to do with the zonal architecture to date. Right now, Rivian is still working with test mule versions of the R2, but the next stage is actual production prototypes. Ford's employee pricing discount, which it started offering in April in response to Trump's tariffs, is really paying off. Sales shot up 16% in May, and Andrew Frick, the president of Ford Blue and Ford Model E, says that boosted its market share in the U.S. to 14.7%, nearly 2 percentage points higher than a year ago. And it should continue to help because the company is offering the discount until the beginning of July. Ford believes Trump's tariffs will do it less harm since 80% of the vehicles it sells in the U.S. are made in the U.S. New vehicles in China are inexpensive compared to other major car markets, but Leapmotor's CEO believes prices are headed even lower. He says it's, quote, reasonable for automakers to sell a mid to large SUV for $7,000 in the future as costs decrease. That will come in the form of advancements in technology, especially with increasing integration of chips. In the future, Leapmotor CEO says the main cost of a car will be the system on a chip, raw materials, and processing fees.
Developing today's vehicles, issues can happen in an instant. What good is knowing your problems without the data to solve them? Meet Wireless Neovi Cloud, your secure off-the-shelf solution, empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With Wireless Neovi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless Neovi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.
Ford started production of the new plug-in hybrid version of the Ranger in South Africa, and the first customers in Europe should be taking delivery soon. The powertrain is a combination of a turbocharged 2.3-liter gas engine, a 10-speed automatic transmission with an integrated 75-kilowatt or 100-horsepower electric motor, and a roughly 12-kilowatt-hour battery pack. The setup sends about 275 horsepower and over 500 pound-feet of torque to all four wheels, which allows the PHEV Ranger to tow up to 3,500 kilograms or over 7,700 pounds. No word on overall range, but Ford says the truck can travel 43 kilometers or about 26 miles on electric-only power. This will also be the first Ranger to come with Pro Power on board, a feature that's popular with F-150 and Transit customers that allows them to power all kinds of other devices from the back of the vehicle. While the Ranger is sold in 180 markets around the world, there's currently no plans to bring the plug-in hybrid version to the U.S. Instead, sales will be concentrated in Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. Toyota is embracing Chinese companies to help speed up its EV and software development. As we reported recently, the new BZ5 it launched in China uses powertrain and battery tech from BYD. And now Toyota and its joint venture partner, Guangzhou Automobile, have signed deals with Huawei, Xiaomi, and Momenta. Its BZ7 sedan, which launches early next year, will feature connectivity tech and smart devices, including tablets and speakers from Xiaomi. Huawei will provide the operating system for the car's infotainment, and it's also developing an AI voice assistant. Lastly, Momenta is providing its new driver assistance system, which will first show up in the BZ3X. We've got some important developments in the supplier industry today. Marelli made it official. It's filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The company is blaming Trump's tariffs, but Marelli has been in financial trouble for years. The tariffs may have been what pushed it over the brink, but they're not the root cause of the company's problems. One thing that's hurt the company is that it's a major supplier to Nissan, which is also in deep trouble. However, there is a silver lining in Marelli's Chapter 11 filing. Most of its debt is getting eliminated, and it's getting more than $1 billion in new financing. Dana, which is famous for its transmissions, differentials, and axles, is selling off its heavy-duty transmission business to Allison Transmissions for $2.7 billion. Those transmissions are for off-highway applications, like construction and mining equipment. Dana will now concentrate on light and medium-duty vehicles exclusively, but it's another supplier that's been struggling financially, finishing the first quarter with only a 1% profit margin. Its CEO, Bruce McDonald, says the money that it's getting from selling its heavy-duty transmission business will strengthen its balance sheet, provide investment funds for the future, as well as return capital to shareholders. And American Axle announced that it got the contract to supply Scout motors with front electric drive units and rear E-beam axles for the Traveler SUV and the Terra pickup truck. Those body-on-frame vehicles will be offered as pure BEVs or with range extenders. Scout plans to be in production in 2027 at a new plant that it's building in South Carolina. Automakers sometimes try to fill too many gaps in a segment, and the BMW XM probably fits into that category. Only the second model ever fully developed by the company's N brand, it's a plug-in hybrid that costs well over $100,000. That's why we aren't very surprised to see that it's slashing how many versions of the vehicle that it sells. In Europe, instead of 3 models, there will now be just 2. One version with a V8, which starts at over 183,000 euros in Germany, and one version with a V6, which starts at about 134,000 euros. The US will now only have one V8 version as well. And Automotive News reports that an all-electric version that was supposed to go into production in 2028 has been axed, and there's no plans for a second-gen model, which would have also come in 2028. But that brings us to the end of today's show.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone, solutions for your journey. Intrepid Control Systems, over-the-air engineering boost your game. Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility. And by
There's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Teijin Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.
Performance that shines, even in the rain. That's what really matters. Bridgestone Potenza tires, improved grip in wet conditions.